Hello and welcome back to my channel. On today's tutorial we're going to be making the Emily Tote by Mormino. I absolutely love this pattern. It is super quick. Get my mouse out of the way. It is super quick. Very like it's like a simple tote bag, but not all at the same time. Like it looks phenomenal. So anyway, let's get started because I gotta get this made. This is a beautiful duochrome glitter vinyl that Lauren from Mormino is hoping to offer in her shop, and I'm hoping that she's going to offer it because I need every color. The back of this is not fuzzy, it's almost like a suede back, and I love the way that it feels. It just feels so luxurious. So we're going to get started with our straps today first. And I swear I'm organized most days. Today is not one of them apparently. So there may be a bit of the struggle bus coming to visit today just because my head feels all over the place today. So, if that occurs, apologies in advance. But I'm hoping I can get this done pretty smoothly. So I'm going to start on my straps, or handles, straps, handles. What do you prefer to call? These are the ones that just go on your shoulder. I'm not going to be adding a crossbody strap to this bag. I find that I don't often when I'm doing the structured version. It works as just a tote bag, and I don't really need the crossbody strap. And I actually made one of these for my kids' teachers for Christmas. Each teacher got an Emily according to their tastes. And I did them as just tote bags with just the shoulder straps, and they loved them. So there's that one. Slide that over there out of the way. Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this one down because sometimes that tape doesn't want to hold for very long. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down. I got my stitch length set at 5 for my straps. And we're going to stitch down all 4 sides. Woo! Sorry about the earthquake. Alex needs to pay a bit more attention. Whew, almost got my finger. All right. Short side. And stab myself in the throat apparently. Right, back down. And then the other short side. All right, and that is strap 1. Done. strap number 2. If I can get the tape to feel. Okay. Foldy, foldy, foldy. That's one. All right, now next strap. Let's do that again. Aha, no earthquake this time. Okay, come on, cooperate. Okay. Oop. My machine is making a weird noise. Oop. Alright, straps are done. Alright, that's our straps. Next up, we're going to do our accent panels on the bottom of our 2 exteriors. By the way, Lauren print. This is her watercolor roses. How perfect is that? How perfect? It was one of those things where it was just like, Alex, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. So we're going to stitch this with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Drop my stitch length back down. Stitched. Snippy snip. Okay, and now we're going to flip that down, and you're going to leave your seam allowance behind your accent panel, and then you're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from your seam. Back up to top stitch length. Stitched. Also, the combination of all of this blues and purples and then the celebration thread from Wizardry, Stitchery, and Crafts. Mwah. Perfection, says I. Okay, repeat. And I'm being a complete rebel today and not clipping this. Back down, stitch. Stitch. All right. That is side 2. All right, now we're going to repeat that again and flip it down. Top stitch. Okay, so now those 2 panels are done. Just need to put our base on, but before we do that, I'm going to do my strap connectors. So I have 4 of those, and I'm going to mark the centers on this really quick. As soon as I find what I did with my pen, there it is. All right, so now we're going to mark the center. Save yourself time. Do this when you cut them out. It makes things go a lot faster when you're sewing. I just forgot to do it. Well, that didn't mark at all. Alright, now we're going to run a piece of double-sided tape down the center of all of these. We're going to set that to the side, so we're going to need it again in a minute. We're going to peel the tape. And then unlike on the handles, I'm going to bring it all the way up to the line. When I do my handles, I leave a gap to make it easier to fold, but since we're not folding this in half, I don't need to leave that gap. So I like to butt them right up next to each other. Dun, 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 dun. One more. All right, now we're going to pull those apart. All right, now we're going to get our 4 square rings, and I'm using simple square rings. And we are going to thread them through. Actually, no. Alex, you missed a step. Before we do that, we are going to cut double-sided tape to put on each one. All right, now we take our square rings. I'm going to thread it through. We're going to peel that tape. I'm going to bring this down and then bring this other end up. And then we're going to take another piece of tape. I'm going to put it over where those meet. And this is going to serve a twofold purpose. It is going to hold everything together for us while we finish these up, and it'll hold it on to the panel of the bag. Two. Three. And then last one, and then I need to double check my pattern for placement because I don't remember. Okay, there's my 4. Now I'm going to double check my pattern for placement of those. Okay. Okay, now we're going to take our panel. We're going to find the centers. Top. So we're going to need that later. All right, and we're going to 1. Two. So pretty. And let's do the other side. And I'm gonna, okay. Okay. What the heck? You didn't stick. All right, now they're all down. But we're gonna start with this one since it wants to be difficult. All right. We're gonna start at the bottom. Stitch up one side. Okay. And then across the hardware. And then we're going to turn. We're going to protect our hardware and our pretty vinyl with a scrap. And then back down the other side. Across the bottom. And then we're going to pull, and we're going to leave long tails, and we're going to pull them to the back. So we are going to pull our tails to the back. And then we're going to triple knot them. One, two, oops, three, and then trim it down. Then, just for a little extra security, we're going to melt them to the back. And then that way they'll stay stuck. And they will hopefully not come undone. Alright, now we're just going to repeat that for the rest of them. Alright, and here we go. rivets to the back. One knot, two knot, and three knot trim. And that's two, and then I am going to put a rivet in each one of these, but I'm going to do that. Ah! Oh no, oh no. Struggle bus. All right, we got to put those back on. They fell off and hit the floor. Okay, so I'm gonna speed up through this. Okay, now we're going to decide where we want our rivets, how many rivets, and where we want them. I'm going to do 2 rivets for each one. Marker. Okay, so I'm going to do one at 1/2 inch, and one at 1 inch. From the bottom. So that bottom folded edge right there, do it this way. So the bottom folded edge, I'm going to do 1 inch up, centered, and then from that bottom edge a whole inch up and centered. So you should have 1/2 inch between them. Okay, and I know you probably cannot see that. Oh, there they are. So I found it. All right, 1, 2, right there. I know that was probably blurry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still learning my cameras, and as my friends tell me, my fancy setup. All right. And I also apologize for the way that I have to do some things because I am left-handed. And I realize that sometimes my hand just gets in your way. All right, so now we have those all marked out. We're going to get a rivet hole punch die. We're going to set that right there. Oh, okay. And now we are going to put our cutting plate in the bottom, as well as our hole punch. And then, to the best of our ability, we are going to line up those spots and push down. I'm gonna have to stand up. So that's 1. And 2. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the rest of them. One done. One. 2. Oh, and all of my little hole punchies are coming out. Pardon my head. 1, 2. Okay. Now all of my holes are punched. Pull this part out. And then we're going to put in the rivet set. Portion. And then we're going to put rivets in all of our holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clips and caps. 1, 2. Okay. Now we are going to set them. 1, 2, 4, close. 1, 2, 3, oops, 4. Okay, I'm gonna set the other 4. So now we have pretty rivets set. Get this out of the way. Out of the way. Alright. Now we're going to decide which side we like better. I think it's going to be this side, and I'm going to find the center on the bottom near my accent panel. Okay, so right there, and then I'm going to put my, that's shiny, and these are supposed to be matte. Oh. I ordered matte rainbow. This one's shiny. Oh well, it goes. Okay. So now we're going to mark those spots. And we're going to cut our holes. Being careful not to cut your hand. That is sharp. It is a scalpel just like they use for surgery. And now we have that in there. Our washer. And voila. Beautiful. And again, that is supposed to be matte. I'm not upset because everything else is shiny, but I didn't order shiny ones. Anyway, alright, now that that's done, now we will take our bottom panel and we are going to stitch that together at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. It should be, if you've put your stabilizer in correctly, actually, we're going to back up a second. We're going to flip this over. And before we do that, we are going to mark out our purse feet. I think I want to do them an 1.5 inches. Yep, 1.5 inches. No, I'm wrong. I don't want it 1.5 inches. I do want it 1 inch. I'm going to get 1.5 inches from the outside edge, which is 1 inch from the corner of my stabilizer. 1, 2. And these are totally optional. You do not have to put purse feet on. I just think it makes it extra fancy. And I do 5, so we're gonna 4 in the corners. And we're going to find our center. That way. And then there. 1 in the middle. Alright, now I I have rivet set purse feet that I'm using. So I need to get my rivet press back out. Take this back off. My hole punch. Again. Alright, and we are going to again poke a hole each of our marks. And then if it doesn't come out, the little punches, I use my little rainbow clippy clips to finish getting that out of the way. Alright, so now we're going to take this off. That away. And we're going to get the, this is the actual foot side. So your little foot will sit down in there, and then the other side is just a rivet cap. So you're going to put the foot side in the bottom, and you're going to put the cap side in the top. Okay, so now we're going to take our purse feet, and I also cut 5 little like 1 by 1 inch squares of flex foam, because it just helps give these guys a little bit more strength, because the posts for the purse feet are pretty long, like in comparison to what I normally use. There it is. So what I normally use for rivets, these are pretty long. So what I like to do is poke a little hole, which I forgot to do. Hold please. I'm going to take this back off. So I'm going to poke a hole in my foam as well. Set that there out of the way. So I'm going to, come on, refocus over here. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. So I'm going to put my hole punch die back in. We're going to poke a hole. Just doesn't have to be perfect. You just want a hole. Same time, I'm going to try and go through these two. There we go. Alright, so now we've got our holes poked in our foam, so now we can take this out again. Okay, we're going to put our purse foot rivet die back in, and it doesn't want to cooperate. There it is. So this is the one that your purse foot is going to set in. So you're going to put your purse foot and it'll sit in there, and then you'll have your post. Okay, anyway, just a little extra information. Okay, so now we are going to put the rivet side through the foam and then through the bottom of your bag, and then you're going to put the purse foot on the post. So you should have posts with the foam through the bottom and then the foot. Okay, so let's do that again. So slide this over here out of the way. All right, so we're going to put posts through there, then through the bottom, and then you're going to socket your foot on the other way. That would have been bad. Woohoo! All right. That, make sure your foot is on the exterior side. Foam through your base, foot. Post through foam, post through base, foot. Ah! Foot. last time. Already sounds so tippity tappity. All right, post through foam, post through base, foot. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Okay, so now you're going to set your foot down into your die. Make sure it sits in there, and that should automatically line up your cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, and middle one, 5. And there you go. And they're still a little wobbly, but they're not going to come off. Let's just see, make sure. Yeah, they're not going to come off. They are still a little wiggly wobbly, but it'll be all right. All right, now we're going to set this back out of the way. Again. All right, now we're going to sew it on. So we're going to sew this. We're going to sew this at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, which should be right along the edge of your stabilizer, but not through it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Stitchy, stitchy. All right, and stitch. Snip, and then you're going to flip that down. Come on, you know you want to. I got it really close to my stabilizer, so it's not wanting to fold appropriately. And you're going to top stitch. So you're going to have your seam allowance underneath your base, and then you're going to top stitch along your base. All right. All right. Top stitching. All right, there we go. All right. Ugh. This is perfection. It's so pretty. Okay. I did really hard to let this one go. Alright, so now we're going to do that again on our other side. And we're almost done with the exterior. Can you believe it? So we got to do this. Line it up. it's gonna be a nightmare later. All right. Stitch 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then again, snip the threads. And flip that down so that the seam allowance is behind your base. And then the top stitch. Along that seam. All right. Trim those threads, trim those threads. Okay, now 2 more steps on your exterior. So we're going to now match up our accents and clip. And then we're going to continue clipping the rest of the side panels together. Clip, clip, clip. And repeat on each side. Whoa! I apologize. That was probably a very loud bang. I hit my microphone. Okay. Clip. 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 One more clip. All right. Now we're going to stitch down these sides at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Whoops. Throw my stitch length back down, but it's fine. All right, that's one side. Repeat on the other side. Repeat that on the other side. 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right. now we are going to box our bottom. So we're going to pull this out and we're going to butterfly this seam open. We're going to match it up with the edge of our base. And I know all you're seeing is the inside. I'm sorry. So we're going to match that up. Center. And then all right, one corner. Same thing on this side. I'm going to put it down here in my lap now. Same thing on this other side. So we're going to push that down. I'm going to open this seam up. So we're going to open that seam up. Match the center. And then we're going to clip it. On the other side. Now you should have two corners that look like that. Okay, and then you're gonna, I find the best way to do it is to push this in, all the way in, so that it lays nice and flat. And then you're gonna stitch this together at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That is one, and we are going to trim these down in just a moment. Okay, so now we're going to pull that side. Woo. Okay, pull that side back out because now that side is sewn, and we're going to push this side in. Push that down. And once again, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Lauren, if you're watching this vinyl is amazing. I am in love with it. Okay, so now we're going to trim our seam allowances. Now you are going to trim the side seam allowance as well, but I like to do it after I've done the bottom seam because it's a lot easier to get that seam butterflied open if you have that full 1/2 inch seam allowance to do so. I find it just a lot easier to get it to hold still. So now we are going to trim seam allowances down to about 1/4. So it should be about in half. So you're going to do it on both of your now boxed corners. And then what I do on this side is I go down the side and I get as close to that bottom seam as I can, and then I pull it out and snip it off. So you're gonna have a little spot right here where it's still that full 1/2 inch, but in the grand scheme of this bag, it will not make much difference. It will not, that won't matter at all actually. So tiny little bit down there isn't going to matter. Alright, so now if you were going to add a crossbody strap, now would be the time you would do that. And if you were doing that, I would probably wait and not cut that seam allowance, this side seam allowance, again, so that you have the space to butterfly it open and it holds still for you to attach those side connectors. All right, now I'm going to not flip this out just yet. I'm going to go ahead and get started on my lining. So I'm going to set that down out of the way. All right, so for my lining, my 2 lining pieces here. And I have my zipper pocket, and I'm also going to do a slip pocket. Okay, let's do the zipper pocket first. Okay, so this is the water resistant canvas that Lauren is now going to be selling. It is a bit thinner, and I probably should have put interfacing on it, but I wanted to try it and see how it did without. If you want to know which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side, if you either wrinkle it or scratch it with your fingernail, the wrong side is going to leave these white marks on it. The wrong side will not, or the right side will not. Okay, so we're going to this and get my brand new Blurple glitter ruler. These ones are a lot thicker than the original ones, but I love it. So we're going to center that over our mark, and we're going to mark out our box. Now I'm going to check my pattern for where that needs to go. Okay. So we're going to place that 3 inches down from the top. Now we are going to turn, and we are going to stitch down the 2 long lines on this. Make sure to back stitch at both ends. Turn it around. Okay, and then we're going to go right back down the other side. Okay. Those threads. Alright, now we're going to get our precision snips. And we're going to cut that right down the center. And then snip as close to those threads as you can possibly get without cutting them. Don't cut them, it'll be bad. Alright, and now I'm going to turn on my iron because I completely forgot. Luckily, it doesn't take long to heat up. And now we're going to flip this through. Lots and lots of steam. Lots and lots of steam. My iron is not quite hot enough. Okay, got my zipper tape. And so we're going to press, press, press. Steam, steam, steam. All right. Now we're going to turn that over. And we're going to get our zipper pull, and I'm using a pop tab zipper pull. Step one is going to be lay this out, and I like to put somewhere between 1/2 inch and 1 inch on either side of my pocket panel. Okay, I'm going to hold that for the other zipper, and then we're going to put our zipper pull on. Come on. There we go. Alright, now we're going to slide that there. And we're going to flip this over. Alright, now we're going to take this we're going to feed it under our presser foot, and we're going to stitch all the way around this box. Ouija board hands, friends. Ouija board hands. All the way around the box. Turn. Woo. Put that out of the way. Continue on. Turn. Turn. Make sure the strings are out of the way. All right, last little bit. Okay, now I'm going to leave my tails long. I'm going to pull them to the back. And tie them off. Just like I did on my strap connectors. One, two, on, cooperate, please. You know you want to. Three. Jeez. They just did not want to tie today. Alright, there's that. That. And then we're going to burn them. 1, 2. And you won't see those because they're inside the zipper pocket. Alright, so now we're going to take the other half of our zipper pocket. And we're going to match that up. Okay. And we're going to take a clip in place. Clip, clip, clip. And then we're going to turn it over. We're going to flip this edge up by about a 1/2 inch. It does not need to be exact, but by about a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to stitch along the sides across the top and back down the other side at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I went a little too far. Okay, turn it. Make sure you are keeping your lining panel out of the way. You do not want to stitch that down into your zipper pocket. It will be a bad day. Bad, bad day. And then the last side, flippity flip, flippity flip. Flippity flip. Flippity flip. Alright, make sure you backstitch really, really well because you are going to be doing a lot of pulling on that little seam right there for your pocket. Trim your threads. And then the only part of the seam allowance that I really trim down is down here at this corner, just so that it lays nice and flat. And then you're going to trim off your overhang on your zipper. Like that. Alright. Then take this that you've got folded. You're going to separate those layers. I'm just going to fold it out. So now it's got this nice little hem, folded edge. It's going to make it really nice for you to sew together once you've got the bag finished. So there's that. Leave that about halfway for now. Now we're going to take our other lining main panel and we're going to mark the center on that as well. I'm going to find the center. Crease it, crease it. That open, and then we're going to take our other, this is our slip pocket panel. Okay, we're going to take our ruler and we're going to mark down 1 inch from the top. Also going to mark 1/2 inch from the bottom. So 1 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the bottom. On the wrong side. On the wrong side. I have done it on the right side. It is a bad day, I promise. Okay. So now we're going to take our 1/4 inch tape. We're going to find the end somewhere. There it is. And we're going to run a line of tape along the top and the bottom. Okay, and snip. All right, and then you're going to peel the paper off. If it wants to be peeled off. All right, peel the paper off the tape. So on the top, you're going to fold down to meet that 1 inch line. And then on the bottom, you're going to fold to meet that 1/2 inch line. Folding, 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 folding. And this is just so that you don't have any raw edges. Because of the way that this bottom gets finished. Okay. Now we are going to top stitch the top edge. So that's where your 1/2 inch is folded over. Top stitch at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance from where it is folded over. Now you're going to find your center on your pocket, and you're going to line it up with the center. And about 1/2 an inch up from your cutout over here. You can't see that there. There we go. About 1/2 an inch up from where you've got your corners for boxing. All right, and then step 1 is you're going to run a line of top stitching down that bottom edge. Keeping it as straight as possible. You could run a line of 1/8 inch tape down that bottom edge to help hold it in place. I'm a rebel. Just gonna run with it. Alright, and then we're going to now fold where your corner is on both sides and make a crease. Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to stitch in, let's start over here. So you're going to stitch in to the crease and then come down that crease line, across to the middle, up, over, down, If you've ever watched Lauren Mormino's videos, she calls it the Pac-Man method. Because that's pretty much what it looks like. It looks like you're chasing Pac-Man. So, I'm going to start on this side. And I just follow my 1/8 inch stitching from when I top stitched. Okay, and we're going to go down that crease to the bottom edge. And we're going to go across the bottom till we get to our center line. You're going to stop about 1/8 of an inch away from that center line. And then you're going to run a line of stitching up one side. And then turn. You're going to do 1 stitch, back stitch, 1 stitch, and then back down the other side. You should be about 1/8 of an inch away from that crease line again, all the way back down to the bottom. Meet your stitch line, turn, run a line of stitching along that bottom edge again. Till you get to your other crease on the other side, and then you're going to run a line of stitching up that crease. You can also mark these with like a chalk pencil, air erasing pencil, whatever, if it's hard for you to see. I know it's probably really hard for y'all to see on camera. And then we're going to close off this other side. And done. And now we have a divided slip pocket. And we have 2 slip pockets, and these, which are pretty useless because of the way the bag comes together, are closed off, and you won't be getting random stuff down in that pocket. Alright, now our next step is going to be our zipper panel. And I have cut my exterior fabrics to the correct size, and I've cut my lining fabrics just a little bit too wide on purpose. Okay, so now we're going to, on all 4 of these, we're going to repeat that process for the 1 inch line. So we're going to mark a 1 inch line on all 4 edges. Turn, and repeat. All 4 edges, all 4 short edges, I should say. So 2 short edges on each one. You're going to mark a 1 inch line. And we're going to get out our handy dandy 1/2 inch tape. And we're going to put a piece of 1/2 inch tape right on the edge of each short edge. right, turn, turn, turn. All right, now we've got them turned. So now we're going to repeat that on this edge. That away. All right, now we're going to take the paper off the tape. And we're going to fold up the raw edge to meet that line. This tape, it does not have the instant hold that I'm used to. All right, now we're going to turn them all around and do it again. Now, another thing you can do is clip that already folded edge together and then turn it over so your unfolded edge of your second one. Oh, come on. Ugh, this tape. Okay, so you've got your ends matched on this side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of focusing too much on that line, we're going to make sure that these other two sides match up so that they are the same length, so when we sew together our zipper panel, everything matches. Okay, that's those two. And then we're going to do this side. And then same process, clip together to make sure they match. All right, tape, let go. There we go. All right. Same process, fold it up so that they match. And there you go. All right, now we need our zipper. Which I need to I don't remember how long it needs to be. Alright. I'm going to do 20 and cut it down later. 20. No, that's probably way too long. My last zipper pull. We're going to put a clip on the end to hold it still. We're going to get out our 1/8 inch tape, and we are going to run a line of tape on 2 edges, one edge each of our exteriors and our linings. And then this just saves us a step. So we can go ahead and sew down our zipper in one fell swoop, rather than having to baste it and then stitch it. You can do it all at once. And then repeat the tape process on your 2 linings. Again, keeping in mind these are way bigger than they need to be. I pretty much just cut them to the right length and went about my business. Just in case, because this is actually my first time sewing with this water resistant canvas, these solid colors, so I wanted to make sure I didn't have too much shrinkage in my seam. So there's that one, and then the last little run. There's that. All right, now we're going to take one of each. And we're going to line up our zipper, take the paper off the tape, line up our zipper face down on the exterior. Actually, I forgot a step with our zipper. All right, other thing we need to do with the zipper, we need to fold it down, pinch, and fold. And then I like to heat it up and melt it. Okay, this isn't going to hold it forever, so be fast. Clippity clip, and repeat on the other side. Almost forgot. That would have been bad. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Make sure. Clip. All right, now we're going to line up our zipper, and we're going to leave somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch from the edge of that panel, and that's just going to make it easier when we turn it later. Also, with the zipper being super long, we can get the zipper completely out of the way. And then we're going to lay this right sides together with this. All right, now, if you happen to notice that there is a little bit extra If it's a little bit too long, you can undo that tape and refold. All right, and now we're going to stitch that down at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. All the way down, keeping it straight, making sure you're not going over your zipper teeth. All the way down. Pull, snip, snip. Okay. Now we are going to take our iron. I'm going to set this here for just a moment to get it out of my way. All right, and then we're going to flip these wrong sides together. And then add a clip. Zip it all the way up. Zipping it helps. Gives you something a little more substantial to pull against. And then we're going to just roll that seam out and press. You get that seam, or that seam nice and crisp. Move this back over here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to top stitch all the way around, including your raw edges. Top stitch all the way around. The zipper. Short side. All right, now we're going to trim our threads. All right, and now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to trim off all that extra. Repeat on the other side. Oh, nope. Zip. Holy jeez. Everything is just flying everywhere today. Now that it is down, now we take the zipper down out of the way and line up our lining. Okay, now repeat. So down the zipper at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Fold away from. Okay, zip it up, fold it back, clip, fold it back, clip, pull, pull, pull. Oop. All right, and now top stitch. Top stitch. I feel like I'm not being particularly chatty today. And I feel like I need to do a live sewing at some point. Zipper pull out of the way. There we go. Turn, stitch. Stitch. Maybe I should do my first live this week. What say you? Have a wild and crazy Saturday night. All right, now we are going to zip that up and we are going to find the centers of both sides and snip. Repeat on this side. Alright, now we are going to take our lining panel. I'm going to find the centers of our lining panel. Again, I didn't snip it, I just marked it. I should have snipped it as well. There's that one. And then we are going to lay our zipper panel right side up, and making sure, because this is the one with my zipper pocket, I'm going to make sure that my zippers are going the same direction. So when closed, on the left, and we're going to match those centers and clip in place. Snip, snip, snip. Or clip, clip, clip. We're not snip, snip, snip. Not yet. Alright, clip. And then we're going to base that in place. So now that's done. And now we're going to take one of our lining top panels and we're going to match it up. And I'm double checking. I believe I know what I need to do. Yes. Alright, so now we're going to match this edge up. Use these. Alright, now we're going to stitch this down at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Sorry. Alright, and now there are two ways you can do this depending on how you want it to look. If you want your zipper panel to come up when the bag is open, then you would fold it and stitch underneath of it. So you would stitch down here. But if you want it to come down, then you will fold your top lining piece and top stitch along that edge. So, do you want it to be perky or depressed? I will have to thank Lauren Mormino for that being stuck in my head forever now. On the Emily bag, the zipper panels are depressed. I don't know why. Okay, so there's that one. Woo! I'm just all up in that camera today. I'm going to probably have to find another place to put it. because I am all up in it today. All right, so there's one side. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Clip. 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 All right, and now we're going to baste in place. Okay, now we're going to take our other lining top panel. We're going to lay it down. Clip. 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 Okay, so for some reason, this is not the right length, so I'm going to zhuzh it just a little. All right, 1/2 inch seam allowance one more time. Okay, now we're going to fold this up. You could also iron this, but again, going rogue. Okay, friends, now what you're going to do is you're going to match up those side accents, or the top accents actually. Top accents, and then you're going to clip down both of your sides. And you're only sewing down the sides at this point. Half inch, half inch. Yeah, half-inch seam allowance. And stuff. All right, half-inch seam allowance. Not entirely sure what just happened there. Repeat. Now we're going to unzip. Make sure your clip is still on the end of your zipper. We're going to unzip this entirely. We're going to leave the bottom open. There's a reason. You will love me for it. Or Lauren, because she's the one that wrote the pattern. Alright, so now you're going to figure out which side is your front. I like to put my zipper pocket to the back. Turn it right side out. Turn your lining panel right side out. That. Okay, now match up whichever side is your front and your back. Step it, step it, step it. All the way down inside. Okay. Now we're going to match up our side seams first. And clip. Side seam, clip. And then match up your centers on your other edges. Clippity clip, clip, clip. Alright, now we're going to start on the back side. We're going to stitch this together. Half-inch seam allowance. Oh no! Oh no! Rest in peace, glitter clip. Don't set your foot down on your glitter clips. It'll be a sad, sad day. This is why you left that whole bottom open. Pull your lining out. Push. Poke out those corners. Wow. All right, now we're going to push that down in there. I'm just giving myself my first look at my bag. I still have to close up the bottom. Wanted to get a good little look to see how we're turning out so far. Oh gosh. Can we just admire? Can we just admire that? How pretty. I am going to have to take a pause, come back and finish this in a bit. For you, it will be as if no time has passed. For me, it will be a little bit. Because I have to go pick up my children. Let's go pick them up. Okay, I'm back. Picked up my children from school. So, next step is going to be we have to pull the lining out through the zipper pocket. So you're going to reach in, you're going to pull your zipper pocket out, and then you're going to reach into the zipper pocket and you're going to pull all of this bottom nonsense through. Squishy, squishy. So what you're going to do is you're going to have all of this out, kind of like a flower. Ain't it pretty? Alright, and then you're going to match up your bottom edge. Match up corner first. Other corner. Now we're going to continue clipping along the bottom edge. Okay, and now we're going to stitch along this bottom edge at a top edge. So no else. hear my bobbin. Did you see that? I flicked a clip at my face. Okay, it kind of got me. Kind of got me. I have like a 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna finish off this one on this bottom edge and my zip pocket lining in the lining. Okay. Okay. At least it got me there. Alright, so let's finish this part. Okay. Snippity snip. Alright. Now we're going to box these inside corners. Okay. And I'm going to nest these seams rather than opening them both out. I'm going to nest them. So one goes one way, one goes the other. Clip, clip, clip. And then same on the other side. Pull. Nest my seams. Clip. 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 Alright, now we're going to stitch 1/2 inch seam allowance. Alright, that's one side. And now the other side. And done. Okay, now shove all of that back down. And all the way back down in the bottom of the bag. Look how pretty it is. It's all purpley. It's all purple. Okay. So now we're going to take our zipper pocket. And we're going to clippity clip that together. Alright, I'm going to grab a tag. Let's see. Let's do this one. Actually, no. Change my mind. We're going to do this really pretty purple. You look really pretty today. That back there. And then we're going to take this. And I put it on a clip so it's easy to slide in. this. Okay. Time to slide that in. Alright, now we're going to shove the zipper pocket down in where it goes. Alright, and make sure the lining is all the way down in. And now we're going to flip and make sure your zipper panel and your lining top panel are in. Fold it down in there. So this should all be folded inside. You should not see any of those seams. And then we're just going to clip it. Tuck your zipper down inside. Now we're going to top stitch all the way around. Alright, and I'm going to top stitch from the inside. Because it's easier for me. All right, are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready, but let's see. almost there. All right, top stitched. All right. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, now we just have to rivet on the handles. So, handle one. There's one side clipped on. And two. And now we're going to hold them up, make sure they're even. Freaking cute. Alright, now we gotta punch our holes. Alright. Whoa! Alright. Alright, I'm going to use this black one because it's going to be easier to see. There. 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 All right. Rivets. Okay, well, that hole didn't go all the way through. All right. there's that. Next one. Other side. Number 3. And then number 4. All right. Cap. All right, now we got to change it out for the setter. All right, now our setter. Almost done. 1, 2, 3.
How many like bottles?
4. Okay. Check it out. And done. Isn't it pretty? Okay. Okay. There she is. All finished. It's gorgeous. And I love it. So we got our slip pockets here and our zipper pocket here. A nice box bottom down in there. Now there is in the pattern, there is also a zipper pocket you can put on the outside. I never ever do it. I should one of these times. But, so this is the Emily tote. Oh, I do have still my zipper end to put on the bottom. So let's do that. And then we'll be all done. We're going to take the plastic cover off of our zipper end. And we're going to take that up out of the way. We're going to fold this down and then slip it in. Okay, get all the way down in there, turn it over, and then we're going to get our tiny, tiny, tiny screw. Screwdriver. We're going to put that in there. Ark! Wow, Alex. All right, let's do it this way. There we go. I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right. Fold that in. Slide that on. And then we're going to put the screw in and just tighten it down. All the way. And then just give it a tug and make sure it's not going to come out. All done. Now we're done. Tuck that down in there. All right, let's put this back. Now she's done. Now she's all finished. Okay. So, that is it for today. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me and sewing up the beautiful Emily bag. Absolutely everything except for the thread came from Mormino this time. And I will have links for everything down in the description. And yeah, that'll be it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you have not already, I would love it if you would subscribe and help me reach my goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by my birthday in May. So, have a great day, everyone.